Raising men, dude. We got to raise more men.
Well, and that's like the exact thing you were just saying is like the quote that I've heard is like people won't always remember what you said to them, but they'll remember how you made them feel.
Yeah. Actually, I heard that. I was like reading some stuff about I had a couple moments where I might have exploded on my stepson and overreacted to some things, and I'll admit that. I'll be man about that. But I was watching a guy talk about it, and he said, you're not gonna remember why you were so mad on April 8th of 2000 whatever, but your kids are gonna remember you exploding at them on April 8th, 2000 whatever. So you got to take a deep breath, and that you can correlate that to being nice to people. They're you're not going to remember their name. You're not going to remember what you said to them, but they're going to remember it, and it might stick with them for a long time. So we got to be nicer, man. We just got to be nicer.
Just be decent people. Like, fuck, just treat people like people. It's not that hard.
It's okay to joke around, man. It's okay to joke around and have some fun, but golly, people take it so far.
People just be out on social media just being blatant assholes to other people. It's sad. We're going to try to change that up a little bit today, though. We're doing something a little bit different. And this, I don't know, it might bother people. Be like, no, you need to hate everything Minnesota, Chicago, and Detroit. And I do. But we also want our rivals to respect our show. It's something that we've kind of taken pride in, especially over the Packers season was really a big thing. And through the draft prep, having Vikings fans and Lions fans watching our show. Jake and I joined a Bears fan show a couple of months ago. We want our rivals to actually be able to respect our perspective. So with today being the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month, we did gratitude challenges for the first 4 Wednesdays. And with today being the 5th Wednesday, the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month, trying something a little bit different. We've talked about it a little bit, but today we're going to do a Be Nice to a Rival Day. Got some cool answers on social media. Some people saying they respect the Bears fans for sticking with their teams for as long as they have, and for the Bears for playing in an outdoor stadium. Brett on Facebook said that he served over 20 years in the military and married a Michigan State fan. And being in Kansas City was the closest that he's seen to the friendly atmosphere that you get at Lambeau Field.
Oh, okay.
So that was cool to see. For me, I know I mentioned this maybe last week or the week before, but talking about Justin Fields, seeing a little kid come up to him dressed in a Justin Fields uniform, and Justin Fields, like walking around with the kid and taking pictures with him and signing all of his stuff. Like, I will say, like, I don't, this isn't like a slight or anything. Like, I don't think Justin Fields is that great of a quarterback, but off the field, he seems to be like actually a great person. Jake, I know you had a thing that you mentioned with Justin Fields.
Yeah. So last week I mentioned how he donated to Special Olympics. He donated $10,000. So that was awesome. On Justin Fields, I think he's a tremendous young man. I think the situation that he went in with the Bears was absolutely the worst for him. He was definitely a sit and develop kind of prospect, and the Bears were desperate and they overreached for a guy at a position that they really needed, but it wasn't the right guy. I think that Justin Fields, if he was in a different situation with better coaching and, better developmental coaches, in my opinion, and better weapons, I actually think Justin Fields could be tremendous. I see why Bears fans, I understand what they see.
If he had been drafted by the Giants, he'd be their starting quarterback in 2023, and Daniel Jones would have remained a free agent.
I agree.
Something like that.
And he would have absolutely killed it with Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll's a very good head coach.
That's a little scary, actually. I'm not going to lie to you. Brian Daboll and Justin Fields, that's a little scary.
Saquon's a tremendous weapon when staying healthy, so him and Fields would have absolutely lit it up. I think he would have been better off to not go to Chicago, but for him to hold his head high, especially when he's had poor play on his end as well. But I think that's enough being nice to him, I guess, because he still wears Bears gear.
I mean, the other thing that I was going to bring up, and the Mental Health America ladies actually shared this with us, that the LA Dodgers, they have a guy who hasn't played a game since I want to say like 2011. His name is Andrew Tolles, but they sign him to a $0 contract every year so that he can still have access to the team's mental health care.
Yeah, that's tremendous stuff.
That's classy.
Yeah, I agree. Damn, made me kind of respect the Dodgers a little bit.
I know and I know we posted this on the page also, but it was just like 2 months ago, I want to say, that KJ Osborne, the Vikings wide receiver, saved somebody from a burning car.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Like, I don't care if you play for the Vikings. Like, you saved somebody from a burning vehicle. That's awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
As far as on-field, on-court stuff goes, I hate to say it, but the Bears' first-round pick, Darnell Wright, they knocked it out of the park with that pick. That was a great pick. I can't knock it. That was a great pick by the Bears. The Lions' first-round picks, on the other hand.
And I'll say this about the Vikings pick. On paper, it makes sense. But for future, it makes zero sense to me. Because Kirk is not going to be there for another 5 years. And if he is, God help you.
I don't think he's going to.
JJ is going to have to get paid. He's already skipping out on off-season stuff.
JJ is about to get...
He's about to get all of the
market reset type money.
He's about to get all of the bags and then 2 other bags in his car because all of them are going to him because he has to deal with playing for a very poorly run franchise, in my opinion. They're not great.
I can't deny it.
I'm not saying that they're horrible. They're not like the Browns or the Cardinals. I've been hearing some crazy stuff about the Cardinals. But they're not them, but they're also not, up there with like the Patriots. Like the Patriots are just like, there's a reason they're good all the time, or the Chiefs or the Eagles. Like there's a reason those teams are good all the time,
Yeah.
They're just a mess. Now I just want to talk about football, dude.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
With a Bears fan today.
Friday night. Got Taylor in the comments saying that we're his favorite dudes.
Remind me to tell the story about the Bears and Packers stuff I was telling you about today on Friday night. I'm gonna start the show with that and see how people feel about it. So
Friday, if you haven't already heard / seen, Friday we're going to do our Thank You Aaron Rodgers episode. Feel how you want about Aaron Rodgers. There's no denying that we had some fun moments with him as our quarterback, and that's what we're focusing on. Not focusing on any of the Rodgers Gutekunst stuff. We're just strictly focusing on our favorite Aaron Rodgers moments. That's it. So if you want to hang out with us on Friday night and relive some of Aaron Rodgers' glory days in a Packer uniform, that's what we're going to do on Friday night. So you can come and hang out with us on Friday night at 8 o'clock with our regular show. So
we're doing something else on Friday night too. Are we going to mention that or no?
No, because that's just recording. So that's a secret.
Oh, okay. Well, look forward to that, people. It's going to be fire.
When that content starts coming out, we're trying to do a little more, trying to diversify our content a little bit and get some more content out there other than our weekly shows.
Yeah, we could be fun too, not just serious.
I mean, we want our shows to be fun, but.
Sorry.
All right. So we're going to start with the Milwaukee Bucks reportedly hiring. Sorry, they haven't officially announced it from the team yet, and he hasn't had like an introductory press conference. But Adrian Griffin to be the new head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, and Jake and I have collected some information, some thoughts on what the head coaching hire means for the Bucks, and we also are going to talk about some guys we'd potentially like to see added to Adrian Griffin's staff. So we're going to start with Adrian Griffin himself. Jake, what did you take away from the Adrian Griffin hire?
So I told you yesterday I was going to start with this, and now I have to because when I was like, what? He said, hey, Tyler's a fun guy. Don't knock him. Tyler's a fun guy. Tyler's the guy that'll be standing there for an hour, and then you talk to him, and because you're just messed up, and then you're just like, damn, man, that was a funny-ass joke, bro. So I got to start with this trade because – in 2008, I didn't pay attention to sports like I do now, right? That was a long time ago. We were younger. We had different goals in life. Okay?
Like getting a driver's license.
Yeah, we had stuff like that going on. So the Cleveland Cavaliers traded for Mo Williams from the Milwaukee Bucks. The Cavaliers GM Danny Ferry announced today This was back in October 13th, Tyler's birthday, by the way.
August 13th.
In exchange, the Cavaliers sent Damon Jones. Damon Jones, dude. Damon Jones and to the Milwaukee Bucks, Joe Smith to Oklahoma City. This is where the Bucks got Adrian Griffin, and they also traded away Desmond Mason in the same trade. So we traded away Mo Williams and Desmond Mason in the same trade. And Scott Skiles, he went on record and he talked about it. He said, we're going to use him as kind of like an extra coach, because he thinks that he's going to be a tremendous coach. And, since that trade, he's been an assistant head coach. So for 15 years, he's been an assistant head coach. So really, we are going to find out if Scott Skiles, in some most awkward way possible, could help bring us another title. Think about that.
That would be weird.
That is the weirdest timeline ever. We're going to trade Mo Williams and Desmond Mason for a guy that we're going to have be like a player coach. He's going to be an assistant, learn how to be an assistant, be a head coach. This is his first head coaching job. And he's going to come back to us when we have a superstar and help try to lead us to the promised lands. That's weird as hell.
That's like a really weird full circle. It's like a circle, but like squiggly lines.
Yeah, like a 2-year-old.
Make a circle.
He's the 17th head coach in Bucks history. Really, I don't have much else. I was just dumbfounded by that. I mean, he played for a bunch of teams. He played for the Celtics, the Mavs a couple times, the Bulls. So I mean, he didn't get a lot of playing time, so he wasn't like a tremendous player. But
he made one start in the finals for the Mavericks in 2006.
But hey, there's that.
When my guy D Wade won the Miami Heat a ring.
He also he just has the basketball IQ, obviously, because you have to be pretty smart to be a head coach. So yeah, I would agree with that. Just leave it at that. So really, I don't have much. Like you, I was waiting for a press conference to kind of feed off of that, to get a little bit more like insight of like him as a person. But it was reported that the Bucks, liked his character. So if they're going off that, I'm not going to disagree with them.
Well, and the thing is like it's been reported that Giannis and Middleton were heavily involved in the process, and they had a meeting with Griffin, the three of them, that lasted over 2 hours.
Oh my!
So. And people are like, people are getting mad. They're like, they're letting Giannis run the team. It's like Giannis is an emotionally and basketball intelligent person. Like I trust his judgment.
Yeah, why would you not, dude? Like, do you hear him talk off the court?
And same with Chris Middleton. Like you've said it before that you think he's our vocal leader on the floor.
He is.
Lori Nickel from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel brought up that Chris Middleton devours more film than any player she has ever covered.
I would believe it.
So for those two guys to be the one that are meeting with the potential head coach, I like that. So the thing is, he was an assistant for 3 years with the Milwaukee Bucks from 2008 to 2010, or 2 years. He saw Milwaukee before the culture shift, before Giannis, before Jason Kidd. So he's been there and done that. He played 8 years in the NBA, like Jake said, went right into coaching under Scott Skiles, basically been in the NBA for 23 straight years.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way. So people are like, they hired a guy who's never coached before. Like, he knows the NBA.
Yeah.
He has championship experience as a player and a coach. Like I mentioned, he was part of the Mavericks 2006 finals team. And he was underneath Nick Nurse when the Raptors won their championship in 2019.
And they beat us.
And they did beat us. Now, I'm going to wait till I give you this little nugget. He was given a lot of credit when he was an assistant coach in Chicago for Jimmy Butler's development.
Oh.
So there's that.
Okay.
And as far as the finalists that were mentioned with Nick Nurse, Kenny Atkinson, and then Adrian Griffin, he was the most players-friendly coach of the three, with Kenny Atkinson being kind of like the middleman and Nick Nurse being more of, like the front office kind of coaching pick.
Okay.
Now I got this little nugget of information from Amit Mann. He is a Yahoo Sports Canada insider. He told me that Adrian Griffin was in charge of Toronto's defense.
Oh.
So people wanted Nick Nurse because of his, his defensive coaching. Adrian Griffin was the guy in charge of that.
Huh.
So when you talk about the 2019, the Raptors beating the Bucks, and the thing was
The wall.
That might have been more Adrian Griffin than Nick Nurse.
Okay. Oh, I'm on board. I'm on board now.
I told you were gonna like the nugget that I had for you.
My mind is going nuts right now, dude. My mind is going nuts.
Adrian Griffin was in charge of the defense.
I now have full confidence that he will switch up the defense when things are not going the way they're supposed to. Wow, I'm going to be watching defense so heavy next year, man. I mean, I already do because, we have so many good and like high IQ defenders.
Right.
So it makes it fun to watch defense. But, man, now having a guy that I hear that, man, he created the defense to stop Giannis. Damn. He made Giannis a champion, really, if you think about it, because Giannis had to adjust.
That played a part in his development.
Wow, man. This is the weirdest circle of all time. I'm telling you. Weirdest circle of all time.
This is like a 7-layer dip of a coaching hire.
You just added to the circle in a weird way. I love it, though. That's awesome. That was good shit, dude.
And then just listening to things about Toronto's coaching staff as a whole, they had their game plans, and then they had basically like second and third like game plans in addition to their original one that they could kind of adjust and go to. So when people are talking about in-game adjustments being a big deal, that is something that he has, like baked into the philosophy that he's been working in Toronto. So I don't think that's going to go away just because he's coming to Milwaukee. So I do think that that's something he's going to bring with him, is having those secondary game plans to adjust when things are going differently than you plan for.
Interesting. Yeah, that definitely just got me on board. I won't lie to you.
Glad I could help you with that. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this out there because I know he's one of the two guys that you're gonna bring up. But Jake and I each have two people that we want the Bucks to add to Adrian Griffin's staff, because I have seen a few of the assistants that were under Budenholzer, thanking Milwaukee for their last 4 years in Milwaukee and things of that nature. And I'm going to preface this just by saying that the Detroit Pistons are offering Monty Williams a huge deal to be their head coach. If Monty Williams doesn't take the deal, Charles Lee is their next choice.
Yeah, he's probably – well, and I've heard that Monty Williams doesn't want it.
Yeah. So I just want to throw that out there, but I will let you name your guys for who you would want to see added to Adrian Griffin's staff.
Yeah, I want Charles Lee. I'm a big Charles Lee guy. I've said it before. I'll say it again. He's a young guy. He understands our roster from top to bottom. He knows everybody's quirks. He knows what they need to work on. He's been with them for the last, 4 years. So,
right.
I would say Charles Lee. And then my next one was one of my top choices to be head coach was Sam Cassell. I think Sam Cassell would literally just be a match made in heaven with Adrian Griffin. Again, a guy who's played in Milwaukee. He was there before the culture change. He was there when we had good culture back in the early 2000s. So he understands. He would get to coach another superstar. He'd go from Embiid to Giannis, a real superstar. And then, like you said, Adrian Griffin was known for Jimmy Butler's development. I've told you that Sam Cassell was known for John Wall's development. So if we can get a Jimmy Butler and a John Wall next to a Giannis, I mean, sign me up for a couple titles. I don't know about you, but
yeah. And I definitely like the idea of Sam Cassell coming over, especially if Doc Rivers doesn't get another head coaching job.
I think
you look at the last few stops that he's had, and has he made it past the second round?
No. No.
Not since Boston. Not since winning a title.
No. Well, I was trying to think maybe the Clippers made it to the conference finals one year.
I don't think they ever did.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Even when they had the prime Chris Paul, prime Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan, the Lob City years, those teams didn't even make a conference.
And Jamal Crawford. Don't forget about that. He was money off the bench for them, dude. Yeah. I thought they were going to win one
Williams.
title.
They had all those dudes on the same team.
Yeah, bro.
Jake and Tyler. The Spanish coach that had the Spanish pick and roll. Sergio Scariolo. Taylor, I'm actually glad you brought that up because I wouldn't put that outside the realm of possibility because they were assistant coaches together in Toronto.
He might be onto something.
So
he said the Spanish Triangle, so that is hilarious.
The Spanish Triangle, the Bermuda Triangle. No, it's the Spanish pick and roll. I mean, the triangle was an NBA offense that was.
Running. I know.
It's just pick and roll, Spanish pick and roll that Sergio Scariolo runs. I'm actually for it. And it does make sense. There is a connection there with them being assistant coaches on the same staff.
He runs the offense, Griffin stays the defense, maybe gets an assistant to help him with some everyday stuff. Not against it. I'm really not.
I'm not against it either. And this, I had another guy on here for the same reasons, basically, for offense, was James Borrego. Because he was already interviewed. He was part of the process. So, I mean, like, you bring him in as an assistant for offense, and you pair him with Adrian Griffin, who's a defensive guy. Like, I like that idea. And this is my other one. This is the guy that prompted me to ask you to add this segment to today's show. My other one that I'd like to see added to Adrian Griffin's staff is Wesley Matthews.
Oh, that's a good one. Although it'd be really hard for him to not go out there, I think, and try to go grab a big offensive rebound for no reason in the middle of the fourth quarter.
and just, but like, I mean, if you look at it, the offensive assistant and defensive head coach, that's kind of flip-flop from the way I was thinking about it. But I mean, you bring in Wesley Matthews as an assistant, basically just like Adrian Griffin. You bring him straight off the court, straight onto the bench. You just have him move back a row. And he's got plenty of league experience. I think Wesley Matthews played something like 17 years in the NBA.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's 16 or 17, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Wesley Matthews has the dog, so you keep that mentality in the culture, and he's a great defensive mind. Like, you talk about, who the Bucks' best defenders have been in their last two playoff series that they've unfortunately lost, being Miami and Boston. I wouldn't be hard pressed to say that Wesley Matthews is our best defender in those two series.
I don't know about best, but I'll tell you what, he definitely was the most willing. And he was sorely missed in that Miami series.
I'll say he was the most willing in the Miami series, but I will hold serve that he was our best defender against Boston last year.
I'm not opposed to that.
Out of anybody that we threw at Jason Tatum, Wesley Matthews was easily the most successful.
Jason Tatum, dude. How do people still? That guy's gonna make $300 million to score 14 points in a game 7.
No, Taylor Matthews didn't retire, but he's 35 years old and a free agent. So
I don't even know if he played 35 games.
And that's the thing. He's getting to that age where he's constantly dealing with nagging injuries, like the calf sprains, the tightness, the soreness, the things like that. So if he's willing to come back, I mean, like, I'd take him back and on like a veteran minimum or something like that. But when we're talking about the parallels with Adrian Griffin, I mean, like I said, you take him straight off the team, put him back on the bench, just move him back a row, straight from the team to the coaching staff. I actually really like the idea of Wesley Matthews becoming a coach because I think he's got it in him, and I think he's got the intelligence for it.
Tim, watch your goddamn mouth.
He's old like you guys. Jake's
Tim,
older than me.
How old is Tim? Is he younger than me too?
I'd be funny if he was.
Tim, are you
younger than you?
Tim, are you younger than me?
Bryant is older than you, if that makes you feel better.
And so is Simon.
Is Simon older than you? I thought Simon was younger.
No, Simon's a whole year and a half older than me.
Because they're all old. Tim said he's not.
Thank you.
I got a ways to go before I'm 35. I'm not even 30 yet.
Yeah, I got a ways to go before I'm 35 too. 4 years is a
How
long time. I don't care what he says. 4 years is a long time. A lot of stuff can happen in 4 years.
I mean, we haven't been doing this show for 4 years. I mean, not even 2.5 yet.
Yeah, man, we're gonna be rich in 4 years. What are you talking about?
Hey, I would happily agree.
It's your birthday today?
Oh, nice.
No.
Happy birthday, Tim.
Why did you not tell us before, bro? We would have made a post for you, man. You're an OG.
We got both. We got Tim and Taylor in the comments at the same time.
All right. Put the gratitude back up there. I
have to be nice to a rival day up there. I don't have the gratitude challenge.
It's your girl's birthday today?
I saw that it was Taylor's fiance's birthday. Yep.
What
I like that post. I know I did.
What is happening today, dude? Holy crap. Well, happy birthday to your girlfriend. And happy birthday to Tim. I mean, Tim's been around since, man, this shit was bad.
Since the days we don't speak of.
That was, holy cow.
Since our shows were 27 minutes long.
Yeah, and I had no idea what I was writing. I looked at my notes and I was like, holy Christ, what is going on here? I don't know what I was even talking about. Yeah, dude. I'm sorry, dude. I was at work all day, man, so I was not able to see like people's birthdays or anything like that.
Well, that's crazy. Like what I would say are our two biggest fans. Tim's birthday is today, and then Taylor's fiance's birthday is today on the same day.
Oh my goodness.
Small world.
And just to add on, because I say things comes in threes. My stepson graduated from 4th grade today, baby. So nice. I essentially live with a 5th grader.
Nice.
Yeah, he was happy about that. He's going to middle school, man. He's a big man now.
Oh, okay. Sure.
I said, you're gonna realize real quick how little you are. Promise you that.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say on the Adrian Griffin, Timmons birthday front?
Go Bucks.
Oh, Taylor's was the 7th. Nice. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, happy belated.
Okay.
Here we go.
So, are you ready to switch into baseball? This is going to be a little tougher.
A little painful, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's start with our power pairs and underrated performers. Give me yours.
Oh. All right. So, for my power hitter, I went with Contreras.
Yeah, you said the right name.
Oh, dude. It's hard to remember sometimes because their names are so freaking close.
I know.
I went with William Contreras. I know he didn't play in all the games, but he ended 3 for 9 for the week. Had 3 runs, 5 RBIs, 3 walks, 2 home runs. He was a 300 hitter, so absolutely nothing wrong with that. He was very productive. Homered in back-to-back games, so got that going for us. Then for pitcher, I picked Corbin Burns. I feel like he had a really good outing, even though that he didn't get a win. He got out of a lot of jams. He had a very inspiring start, in my opinion.
A vintage start, I will say.
Just a lack of offense. I don't know. I have some thoughts. I'm not going to give them away, but I do have some thoughts on the hitting woes and what could change and what they need to do, but I'm not going to give that away. For underrated performer, I didn't tell you this on purpose. I didn't pick one.
Oh.
I didn't think that there was nothing. The only thing underrated about us this week was underwhelming was our offense. I'm not going to lie to you. I told you I was going to be a little harsh on the Brewers this week. Did you know we got 24 hits in 5 games? That's not even 5 hits a game. You know how many hits we gave up in 5 games?
A lot.
57. So you're telling me we gave up on average a little over 11 and we couldn't even hit 5?
I will say the one game against the Giants skews that a bit.
Well,
as does last night's game.
I mean, we gave up 11 the first game, 19, 6, 7, and 14. 3 out of the 4 were double digits. Our highest was 7.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
I think I want to say I want to say it was like 15 of 26 games since Garrett Mitchell's injury. The Brewers have been under 2 runs.
Oh,
And their offense is second worst in that time.
I believe that.
It makes me sad that Garrett Mitchell is hurt.
Well, and then, also Luis Urias, a guy who could really be useful.
Soon. He's coming back on the homestand.
I keep seeing it. And then they need, at this point, they just need to call up Keston. We just need to give him another shot.
Hurt.
I know, but
we can't call up Sal Frelick either. He's hurt too. Everybody's hurt. Yeah,
it's not great.
Yeah, James, the division is pretty close, and that's the thing is like we can't. I mean, we're like a little over a month away from when the trade deadline is going to be. Or sorry, not a month. We're a little over a month away from the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
And as of right now, we have no idea who is going to win the NL Central.
Yeah, we don't know if we're buyers or sellers or.
And that's the thing, and we'll talk about this when we get closer to it on what we think the Brewers should do. But as of right now, the Brewers are kind of just treading water.
Ugh.
They're just trying to stay afloat. Is really what we're at with the Brewers.
The Brewers are like that meme where that one kid, it shows the 2 kids. The mom's like holding the one kid up, and the other kid's like drowning. The Brewers are the kid that's just like,
Yeah, and Major League Baseball media is holding up the Cardinals, even though they're horrible.
Yeah, dude, seriously. Ugh.
You know what's funnier? Last power rankings I saw have the San Diego Padres at 24th.
Oh my!
The Padres are like 7 games under 500, and they have like a $300 million payroll.
Yeah, they have a fat payroll, dude. That's
and they're like 7 games under 500. That makes me laugh. And people are mad about the Brewers. I mean, a little perspective goes a long way. But I will say, my power pair, I went with Julio Teheran. We're gonna get to him in a minute. Mm. He did not have the best AAA numbers, but he came to the Brewers and he delivered in his debut.
Mm-hmm.
He pitches again tonight, so we'll get to see if it was a fluke or if the Brewers found something. If they found, some depth that they can use. But Julio Teheran, for him to come from AAA, not having the best numbers and give the Brewers a nice debut, I will take that. For position player, I went with Brian Anderson. I know he had his error last night, which is uncharacteristic by him. But he has been on base 4 games in a row and 6 out of the last 7. Now, he's only been 4 of 17 in his last week of games, which isn't great, but 3 of his 4 hits were for extra bases, including a home run and 2 doubles, and then he also had 2 walks. So, I mean, you'd like to see that average a little bit higher, but, I mean, still doing things when he's putting the ball in play.
True.
And then for underrated performer, I do have one because it's a name of a guy who's been up and down a couple times so far. I went with Trevor McGill. Made 2 appearances in the last week, pitched 2 1/3 innings, only gave up 1 hit, only 1 walk, with 5 strikeouts, and he threw over 3 pitches over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's got some power stuff, man.
He's got some gas. So I went with Trevor McGill. That is weird, James. That is very, very weird.
That is.
Harry Kane is an English soccer player who wants to explore being a kicker in the NFL when he retires. That is weird.
Random.
It's very random. So that's who I went with for my underrated performer. So let's just do it. Let's dive into this series with the Giants. Game 1. This is the Julio Teheran game. He made his debut. He pitched very well, in my opinion. 5 innings, just 4 hits. Only the 1 earned run. He had 5 strikeouts and a walk. And this is another Trevor McGill. Inning in the 3rd, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. It really came down to Tyson Miller in the 8th inning. He went leadoff home run, 1 out single, 2 out hit by pitch, and then back-to-back 2 out doubles. That's really what it came down to as far as the pitching goes. And then this is something that I know I've brought up is the strikeout to walk ratio. It's bad in this one. Game 1 against the Giants, 13 strikeouts and only 2 walks.
Yep, that's pretty horrible.
I have it underlined 3 times in my notebook.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
So 4 hits to go with the 2 walks, just 6 base runners.
Yikes. So here we go. First of all, I want to say that Tehran has a dope looking glove. I like the TL on there. Looks sick. I'm also a really big fan of his delivery. He's not like submarine, but he's not like total sidearm. He's kind of like here. And I feel like that's, tough. Just the different arm angles to deal with.
I don't like where Strzelecki is. So,
I mean,
Strzelecki's a little more like 9 o'clock.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's not a submarine, but
I just liked how it was. Yeah, man, just absolutely zero opportunities, and I feel like we wasted a really, really quality start from a guy that you weren't expecting like a really quality start from. So I don't know. Tehran, he pitched his heart off, and then we moved on to the next day.
Okay. Now, what do you want to say about this game? Because this is the game the Brewers, they got blown out, but it really became more about Willy Adames than anything else. But what are you thinking from this game?
Do you want me to just be honest? I mean, I won't be vulgar, but you want me to be honest?
Go ahead.
Why are we doing this? Like, why do you have to be a POS? Like, these are humans. I'm so sick and tired of having this conversation, dude. I'm really holding back all the swear words. I'm swallowing them now because I'm getting upset. I'm so sick and tired of people treating professional athletes like superheroes because they're not.
Yeah.
These people go home to their kids, their wives. They go visit their parents. They go on vacation just like us. They just afford more stuff.
Yeah.
This is a human being. And yeah, it's going to does it mess with people? Like, I literally, I'm not going to give out names or anything. I had a coworker at a job once, and he found out his dog was sick. So I was like, I asked him every day, how's your dog? How's your dog? Because I understand that dogs become family members too, right? Well, one day, I didn't see him in the morning. Came in the afternoon. He came in with a big brace on his arm. So me and him, we used to go back and forth with jokes, right? Like, he was that kind of guy. We had that kind of relationship. So I made a joke to him. And later I found out that his dog actually passed away the night before. And he got so upset that he punched his car. Now, I wouldn't call that a smart decision, but in the heat of the moment of you reacting to a death, and this was a dog. Now, again, I understand that dogs become family members, but in the heat of the moment, that's how he reacted to that. So how do you think somebody in the moment of a professional baseball game is going to react to one of their best friends, like having a life-altering, play happen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why are we doing this? Why do we have to have this conversation and telling you to stop being a POS? I'm sick and tired of it.
The fact that people were booing Freddie Peralta and then defending the fact that people should be allowed to boo players, it'd be a little bit different if it was just a normal game, but it wasn't just a normal game. And, to your point that being paid millions of dollars does not make you immune to emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we love sports so much, is seeing the emotions of the moment, seeing Giannis crying while the streamers are coming down after winning a championship. That's why we love these athletes. You get to see that emotion from them. Now, the thing is there's also another side to this coin. And I'm not going to lie to you. If you and I, let's say you and I were, we had the Brewer game. We were handing out can koozies and stickers and meeting fans that we've come to know from our show. If a foul ball hits you in the head, I don't give a shit about our show.
I agree.
And if people were going to be mad at me for not caring about the show while I'm wondering if my best friend is okay after getting hit with a foul ball, read the room is really what I want to say.
I want to say other things, but we're cleaning it up around here.
I will say before it happened, the Brewers got the bases loaded in the bottom of the first inning, only got one run out of it. That's opportunity lost is what I'll say there. The Giants got 2 runs back in the top of the second inning. Tyrone Taylor did make a nice play at the wall. He almost robbed a home run, but did keep it in the ballpark. And then a bloop single ended up making it 3-1 anyways. But then that's when the bottom of the second inning is when Willy Adames got hit. After that, honestly, the baseball game became secondary. Everything snowballed after that. I mean, Ethan Small did make his season debut. I will give Elvis Peguero credit for coming in and getting 2 strikeouts right away after Freddie Peralta was done for the night. He pitched 2 2/3 innings, only gave up 2 hits, had 4 strikeouts, and gave up 0 runs. So good job by Elvis Peguero in the midst of some chaos. But after this game, I shouldn't even say after. It was during the game that Willy Adames went to the hospital. Freddie Peralta went to the hospital to see Willy Adames. Like, we're not just talking about teammates. We're talking about people who are closer than teammates.
I think people, like, literally don't understand how much time these players spend with each other.
Well, and the thing is, like, Willy Adames and Freddie Peralta have spent time as roommates. They are best friends off the field. And, yeah.
I mean, nothing else needs to be said about that, man. Like, like you said, you know, if you get hurt, you know, in the midst of us doing, like, say we're doing a live show and something happens and you get hurt, like, man, F this show, dude. I got to take care of
my lightning because I'm freakishly large, for example. Jake dropped his camera, messing up a tender moment. But yeah, I mean, we really, after we get to that point, like, baseball really became secondary to the rest of that game.
Sorry, I'm getting hyped up over here.
Out here just knocking cameras down and stuff. But no, like, what I said was, like, if I get struck by lightning while we're doing a live show or something like that because I'm freakishly large and, you know, like a telephone pole. Like, nope, you got to finish the show.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, way to go, old man.
But yeah, like, basically what I closed that game out with was saying is that baseball became secondary to Willy Adames' health after that. What I said to you after seeing the video of seeing him get hit by the foul ball, which I'm sure freaked out Brian Anderson too in the batter's box. If, as far as going by getting hit in the head goes, like, he could have been worse. Like, what I said to you was he could have got hit in the orbital bone or his cheekbone and, like, broken one of his bones around his eye. Could have got hit in the eye. Could have got hit in the nose. Like, it could have been worse, and thankfully it wasn't.
Yeah.
But like I said, the game really became secondary at that point. And like I said, and Jake laid this on pretty thick too, is neither of us condone booing Freddie Peralta after seeing his best friend get hit in the head by a baseball.
And sorry, I'm going to say it. Screw you if you're going to stick up for booing a guy after that.
Yeah,
Screw you.
I don't care. That's where I say read the room. Read the room.
Screw you, dude. Like, you're the kind of guy I don't want to grab a damn beer with. I don't even like grabbing beers. But if you're a cool guy, I'd grab a beer with you.
Defending the negativity, that's where it's like, why? Why do people so desperately cling to their negativity? And I'll say one thing on the subject of defending negativity, and I understand that change is hard. I get that. But by defending the negativity there and saying no to changing to, you know, at least some sort of sympathetic humanity in this instance, like, just come on. We're talking like literal human being decency towards another person.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck him. He gave up a bunch of runs in a baseball game.
Yeah.
I don't care that his best friend's in the hospital. You get paid millions of dollars.
But then these are the same people that are like, I'm going to go there now. They're like, oh, they make a lot of money. They should donate all their money and help people out. Like, Bro, did you work out for them so they could have this opportunity, like this amazing, crazy opportunity to play Major League Baseball or professional football, whatever, basketball? Like, did you work out for them? Were you the one waking up at 4 a.m? Were you the one working out for 12 hours a day? Were you the one watching what you eat? No. You decided to drop out of school and go work in a factory. Stay in your lane, bro. That's how I feel.
This is the thing about money, and I've seen this presented to a lot of things, is just the hypothetical. Like, if I offered you $10 million today, but you don't wake up tomorrow, would you take it?
No, who the hell's taking that?
Okay, so money isn't automatically make you immune to humanity.
Yeah.
So why would you expect a professional athlete to operate that way?
Because it's for entertainment.
Yeah. And especially when we're talking about playing a game at the end of the day. We're talking about playing a game.
Yeah.
Which is entertainment, and I understand that, and that's why this is such a large industry, and that's why they get paid millions of dollars, because they're at the highest, the highest level of that entertainment. But
all the people complaining about how much money they make are paying $350 on YouTube TV for a fucking NFL Sunday ticket, dude. Think about that. Like, you're just contradicting yourself. You're adding to what you don't like.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure you go and you see they got Brewers t-shirts and hats and all that.
Oh, we went to 15 games last year. Like, dude.
Yeah, I paid to see them play. That means I have the right to boo them.
Right. Like,
I'm not saying you don't have the right, but is it right is a different conversation.
I agree. Time and place, right? That's why you say read the room.
Read the room. Thank you.
Yeah.
James said they talk about them like robots and not humans. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And I guess that's the bottom line, is that money does not make you immune to emotion. Isaac said the boycotters are the hilarious ones. You should have seen the Twitter argument that I got into today. If you want to see the boycotters are the hilarious ones.
Oh, God.
We'll have that conversation a different day. Maybe we'll have it separate from a show. But
Isaac, he was almost like the guy I told to touch grass yesterday.
Yeah. We'll save that for a different time.
I can't believe your child is in your diaper in your profile picture. Like, what are you talking about, dude? She's like 6 months old in my picture, dude. What's wrong with you?
Oh, man. Okay, let's go to Game 3 of the Giants series. Yeah, they're boycotting, but keep commenting on social media. That's exactly how that went today, James.
He didn't even know, but he knew.
Yeah. Well, it's predictable by people that get mad about it, but then want to voice that they're mad about it, but can't ignore it.
Right.
All right. Let's go to Game 3 of this series. This was the one that said you were the most frustrated by when we were talking before the show. So I'll let you talk about it first.
So, obviously, you just heard us talk about, the 15-1 game. Yeah, like we said, it really became not about baseball after that one, right? So then we get into this one. I'm thinking like, all right, clean slate. We got our ace on the mound.
Yep.
Let's go. Just split this series, get the feel goods back, and everything will just be back to normal, right? And I'm not trying to just forget about Willy Adames and just be like, oh, whatever, you got
get a W for him.
Yeah, like let's go get a win. Let's get back on track. We still got games to play, right? So
pick our guys up.
And I picked Burns because of this game, because I really felt like he was phenomenal in this game. He got out of so much garbage that he did put himself into, to be completely honest. 3 walks is not great. 4 hits and 3 walks is not tremendous, but he only had the 1 earned run in 8 Ks, so he was still mowing him down. His curveball was working really, really good. His changeup was looking really good. Who the hell pitched for the Giants? I forgot his name now.
Was that
damn it?
Was it Webb?
It was Webb. Webb was. I'm gonna give credit, because we're being nice to rivals today, and I don't really like the Giants. I feel like they own us a little bit. Webb was tremendous as well.
Yeah.
He was mowing us down too, and his curveball and changeup was also fantastic.
Yeah.
So I was watching this game, and I'm like, bro, if we just get 1 hit, we just need somebody to wake up this dugout, wake up the crowd.
Yep.
Finally got that hit. Bryce Terang, first triple of his career. Oh man, he was moving
nicely
around those
done.
bases. Then Carantini, he got him in, and then immediately after that, Strzelecki gives up a 2-run homer, and it was just like, that was a gut punch, dude. That felt like a game that we could steal, where like it was just a pitcher's duel, and it just felt like a game we could steal.
Yeah.
And then just the gut punch, and that was tough for me to take. I won't lie.
So I'll start with this. We'll talk about Corbin Burns. You talk about getting out of jams. He gave up the 1 earned run that came in the first inning, a 29 pitch first inning. Followed it up with a 1-2-3 second and a 1-2-3 third. 2 runners in the fourth. Didn't give up any runs. So he responded really well to a rough first inning. Top of the fifth, another 1-2-3. Only 10 pitches. Top of the sixth, Burn tied his season high in strikeouts with 8. 1-2-3 inning. 10 pitches again. So 2 10-pitch innings for Corbin Burns. And then the seventh inning, he stranded 2 more guys, finished with 110 pitches.
Yeah, I was shocked. And I was shocked the Giants put Webb back out there too.
So he pitched 7 innings. He did have the 3 walks, which is where that traffic came from, but 8 strikeouts, only 1 earned run. Baseball finds a way to make you feel extremely happy and one day and shitty the next. And that's the thing. Like, I know we've said this a whole bunch of times, and I know I've said it specifically, that baseball is the most zoomed out regular season out of all professional sports. You're talking about 10 times as many games in a baseball season as a football season. 10 games of ebb and flow is equal to 1 NFL game. And people treat each individual baseball game like it's going to make or break the season, and it's not. At the end of the season, it can, but here's the thing: is it's not only going to be one game that decides these things. It may come down to a 1-game finish, but it's not going to be any one game that costs you a season, unless there's a game 163, which they don't do anymore.
Never forget when we beat the Cubs, though. That was a tremendous day.
Yes. So Corbin Burns was great. And you mentioned him having a good changeup, and I'm glad you did, because he had 4 out of his 8 strikeouts on a changeup.
Yeah, dude, that thing was filthy.
Hey, we're talking Corbin Burns throwing better changeups than Devin Williams throwing nasty fastballs.
Sick combo.
Whoa, bro. I'm just going to say this. When we get to the trade deadline, I may have some thoughts that I don't know that I've had before.
You better calm down over there, okay? Just sleep on it.
I will. And
sleep on it.
I'm just going to say that I have full faith in the Brewers pitching lab. I'll leave it at that.
All right. Don't say nothing crazy.
We're a long ways away from any sort of craziness. Okay. So, and I'm going to get to Peter Strzelecki here, because this is another thing where it's like recency bias is a really ugly monster. So you mentioned Peter Strzelecki giving up the home run and it feeling like a gut punch. Did you know that was the first home run that Peter Strzelecki allowed?
No, I'm well aware, yeah. And I'm not saying that he's shit or anything, but
people on Facebook were calling for Peter Strzelecki to be traded.
Tyler, if we take the collective IQ of the first 50 people to comment on our posts, dude, is it high?
Ours are better than they are in groups, I will say.
Okay, that's fair. If we go on the Brewers page,
job of cultivating not a large following, but I do think that overall we have an intelligent following.
Okay, not our page. I apologize. If we go on the Brewers page and we take the first 50 people that commented, let's be honest. Come on.
There's a lot of emotions in there.
Yeah.
Dude, if you go through any, and it sucks, and I hate that this is the case, but you go through any Wisconsin sports team page, like those comment sections could be sponsored by Kleenex.
I like it.
There's so much whining and crying in comment sections. Like, people got to let shit go once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in baseball season. Isaac said, let's be Giannis. I'm okay with that, though, because Giannis is a good dude.
Yeah, and Giannis is honest. So let's be honest.
We can be, let's be honest. I'm actually with that, Isaac. But people calling for Peter Strzelecki to be traded after giving up one home run, like, really, people? Dude's a rookie. That's really where we're at. Trading rookies because he gave up one home run. That's where we're at.
I guess.
What I'll say is one of our better bullpen arms in Peter Strzelecki. I would probably put him at 4th. I'd probably put him at 4th.
Off the top of my head, I'll just agree, but I haven't thought about it.
I mean, if we're talking like our best bullpen guys, like Devin Williams is number 1.
Yep.
This season specifically, I'll say Payamps is number 2.
Yep.
I'm going to put Hobie Milner number 3, and then I'm going to say Peter Strzelecki.
Strzelecki and Piguero are pretty close, I'd say. But
Piguero's been up and down from Nashville, but he's pitched well when had opportunities. He's given up a couple big innings. I would say Bryce Wilson's probably in that conversation.
I feel like the Brewers have an underrated bullpen. From
I
a bunch
agree
of guys that nobody be like, who the hell are, you know?
But the bullpen cost the Brewers one game, and then all of a sudden you forget about the last 3 appearances that he's had and go back to the Colorado series and be like, well, Peter Strzelecki struggled since he's been in Colorado. No, the fuck he hasn't. That was 3 appearances ago, and he's pitched well since then.
Yeah.
But you're emotional, so you want to connect the two. That was 2 weeks ago.
Thinking just like a woman. Dude, sorry. When you said it was like 3 appearances ago,
that are doing this shit.
I know. It just made
me emotional about it.
It made me think of like one time, like you say something to your girlfriend, and then you don't say it for like 4 months, and she's like, "Remember when you said it to me last time? What happened?" Like, dude, that was like 4 months ago, dude. Let it go.
These things do not go together.
Yeah, just stop.
Yeah, you're talking, like I said, like 3 or 4 appearances ago, and in between there, Strzelecki was pretty good. The one outing that he gave up runs in between there was what, in my opinion, wasn't his fault because of a pass ball. So that should have been an unearned run, and he should not have gotten charged with a loss for that game. But we're really already at trading rookies. That's where we're at.
I guess so, man.
Man, Facebook rocks. Facebook can test my patience sometimes.
Man,
I use it to kind of get a sense of the fan base for what people are thinking, but man, it's not a lot of good thoughts often.
No.
And I'll say that there's people out there that are doing our work and trying to get some positivity going, but it's not the prevailing perspective.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the game the Brewers won out of this series. Let's talk about Game 4.
So, the Brewers scored 2 runs in 3 games. That is 27 innings.
Suboptimal.
So, then they decided to score 7 runs in 2 innings.
They scored 7 runs before they recorded 4 outs.
Think about that, dude. Like, what is happening here? I mean, Contreras single, Anderson doubled to right. This was in the first inning. Miller singled to center. Scored Weimer and Yelich. Contreras homered, and that got us to 7. And it's like, what is going on today? And we were whooping their butts 7-0. Colin Ray, again, I know that he gave up the 4 earned runs, but dude, Let me tell you something, dude. This guy, how I'm going to explain him is gamer. He is a gamer.
I'm with that.
Like, if I'm going to compare it to the video game, he probably doesn't have a great overall in the video game. It's probably like a 55 or like a 62 or something weird, but not good. But then you get him into an actual game, and you're like, this guy's not horrible. He's pretty good, actually. I mean, he had 6 strikeouts, 5 hits, 6 innings. I mean, you ask a guy to go 6 innings, 5 hits. I mean, the 4 earned runs is a little bit, but that's when he's starting going through the lineup the second and third time around. You know, so these guys are starting to realize, and he's not really like a dominant guy, right?
I'm glad you're bringing this up, and I'm going to interject here because you're on the subject of Colin Ray. Okay. This is a case study of exactly what happens when people get pissed that Craig Counsell doesn't have a seeing glass into the future. This is where people are like, oh, Craig Counsell should have taken him out after 6. But you take a guy out after 6 when he's dominating, and then it's, why are you taking him out? This is what happens. This is a perfect case study of why Craig Counsell takes guys out after 6 innings sometimes.
Yeah.
This is what can happen. Colin Ray comes out for the 7th inning, single homer. Now he has 4 earned runs. You took him out after 6. You're talking about 6 innings pitched, only 1 earned run, a whole bunch of strikeouts, and not a lot of traffic.
Yep. I agree. I am not going to disagree with you. I do want to give credit. I mean, Payamps pitched good, but want to give credit to Strzelecki. The day before, obviously, like I said before, he gave up the big home run. He comes in, yes, it's only 2/3 of an inning, but he came in, he got a strikeout, only gave up 1 hit. So to put him back in there in a big time situation again, that shows that you trust him.
Yep.
And now he gained some confidence just from that alone, right?
Absolutely.
So that's a good thing. And then Devin Williams, another 4-out save. I mean, he's like Giannis now at this point. Like, we're just going to keep saying good things about this guy. He's good.
Yeah, Devin Williams is good.
But Contreras 3 RBIs,
Yeah.
Anderson 2 RBIs, and Miller 2 RBIs. We only left 5 on base in this one, and we were 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So we were better in this game.
So this game started with a Yelich walk, Owen Miller single, William Contreras single, and we're up 1-0 before they recorded an out. I mean, that's a great place to be. Isaac mentioned Josh Hader. Don't even get me started on that because I had an argument with somebody on where else but Facebook about the Brewers and the Josh Hader trade.
Good times.
But I did laugh at the expense of the San Diego Padres earlier. The fact that they're like 7 games under 500 and like 24th in power rankings. That is funny to me.
Bro, they made all those trades last year just to be 7 games under right now.
You have like 4 dudes on that team that could compete for an MVP and like 3 dudes that could compete for Cy Young awards and a $300 million payroll to be 22-29.
And then people want to be like, oh my God, the Dodgers are so good. Like, dude, look at their competition, dude.
That's funny.
I don't know who to compare that to.
It's funny to me that the Mets are not good either.
Yeah, Mets are horrible too.
We're small market. Spend money, Atanasio. Spending money does not equal. I've said it before.
I agree.
It's funny to me. Okay. So Brian Anderson did 2 RBI double in the first inning as well. And I brought this up. So Brian Anderson played 98 games in 2022, dealt with a lot of injuries, so I will say that. But he only had 28 RBI last year in 2022 in 98 games. Into this game, he had played 51 games, already 30 RBI. So dude's been a great pickup.
Yes, he is.
And even though he committed his first error last night, dude's been arguably one of the better free agent pickups of the offseason for baseball as a whole. If he gets his batting average up at all, I mean, that's a great pickup. But people just want to fixate on Jesse Winker and trying to think of who else. Oh, Luke Voigt. And being like, oh, they didn't spend any money on filling holes. Like, they also didn't expect Garrett Mitchell to be hurt and Sal Frelick to be hurt and Keston Hiura to be hurt and Tyrone Taylor to start the season hurt and Willie Adames to be hurt and Luis Urias to be hurt on opening day. I mean, you can't come at this with hindsight and say, oh, the Brewers should have seen this coming in December. That's bullshit. Okay. So I will say it's cool seeing Andrew Monasterio make his debut in the top of the 6th inning as a defensive substitute. And then getting his first at bat. He did strike out. He got frozen on the fastball. Mm-hmm. But, dude, the entire at bat, dude's just smiling. Dude's just happy to be here.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
That was cool to see him being happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I made one person in that stadium, I guess, happy to be there.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the Brewers won that game, so there was probably people happy, but I mean, seeing the way that people are acting when the Brewers are going through the tough times is not encouraging of our fan base.
No, it's not.
And I will say, Colin Ray, you said the dude's a gamer. At one point, he had retired 10 straight and 19 of 20 since the first inning.
Bro, gamer.
If you take him out after the 6th, you're talking about a gem.
Yeah, seriously.
Of a game.
Seriously.
So, like I said, this game is a case study in why you don't get pissed when Craig Counsell takes out a guy a little bit early. You mentioned Piamps and Peter Strzelecki and Devin Williams to go ground out, strikeout, walk, strikeout in the 9th inning. His 3rd straight multi-inning save.
Stud,
for sure. Anything else you want to say about the Giants series?
Nah, let's just call it what it is, man. They own us.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the Giants always play the Brewers tough. Like, their record is almost exactly the same as ours.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, baseball is weird this year, man, with records.
Baseball is always weird, but people don't really pay attention to it until it's happening to them.
Yikes.
Baseball is drunk this year, though, because, like, I mean, you're talking about the Cardinals, the Mets, and the Padres all being under 500.
Dude, literally the Brewers could go on, like say they go on a streak of, like, 10 wins in 15 games, and they'd run away with this division.
Yeah.
Isn't that dumb?
Dude, the Pirates, what the hell? The Pirates, they went, like, their best player got hurt, and then they won, like, 8 games in a row, and then lost, like, 8 games in a row.
Yeah, dude. Like,
it's really weird that the Cubs are the worst team in the NL Central.
Nah, that's not weird. That is good. That is awesome. F them. We don't like them.
That's funny. I didn't say it wasn't funny, because it is funny. It's not what I expected, though, is what I'll say.
I hope they stay at the bottom for the next 100 years.
That'd be hilarious.
Then they can still talk about 2016. Anyways, I'm gonna get off I'm in a mood today.
All right.
So, like I said, they can go 10 or 15, and they can just go crazy. So
yeah.
Let's move on to this Blue Jays series.
Yeah, let's start with last night's Blue Jays game. What's stood out to you from last night?
Okay, again, people need to chill. Okay, Adrian Hauser last week had some dominant starts. He literally was my power pitcher. He has one bad start.
I'll let you finish.
People are literally flipping out, dude. Like, did you we talk about small sample size, right?
And recency bias.
So we didn't freak out over the small sample size. We were like, that's great. I hope you build on that.
Yeah, we didn't call him the Cy Young or anything.
Yeah, that is fantastic. We love this. This might be what the team needs. A little boost. We ain't go crazy.
Watch when other guys are struggling.
Yeah, we loved it.
Yep.
We're also not going to beat the hell out of him when he has a bad start. It's going to happen. They make like 30 starts, dude.
Just wait. I got thoughts.
So he gives up 11 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks. People need to literally respect Adrian Hauser, okay? I'm just going to say this first and foremost. Yes, he's a ground ball pitcher, so, like, you almost have to. It's like a necessity. But, like, he's, like, really good fielder for a pitcher, okay?
Let me know before you're done, before you're going to move on from Hauser, because I want to talk about Hauser. So
okay, I just wanted to say that last part because people don't respect Hauser the way they should. I'm not saying he's Cy Young, like you said. Like right. We're not saying he's Cy Young. We're not saying he's great. He's a good player for us. So you can say what you got to say.
So before I give you the statistics of it, I don't think Hauser had a bad game yesterday. I think he was a little bit of victim of some circumstance. The Blue Jays had 11 hits. How many of those 11 hits did you see a guy dive for the ball and miss it by less than a foot?
Yeah, dude, we just had this discussion. Yeah.
Adrian Hauser did his job of getting contact on the ground. I don't think he had a bad start. I think he did his job. Now, I went up and I added the exit velocities of all of the hits that the Blue Jays had last night.
Ooh, okay.
You want to take a stab. So just pick a number. Usually over 100 is a really hard hit ball. I think it's over, I don't remember what the cutoff is. I want to say it's like 95 or 96 miles an hour is where StatCast cuts off what is part of like the hard hit percentage.
So I'm picking the average, right?
The average exit velocity on the Blue Jays 11 hits last night. Just guess what it is. And 95, 96 being the cutoff of what is a hard hit.
I'll say 90.
Lower.
85.
The average exit velocity on the Blue Jays' 11 hits last night was 87.9 miles an hour.
Wow. So they're getting weak contact.
And just squeaking through. The double that Whit Merrifield hit that made it a 4-2 game, 66 miles an hour off the bat.
Really?
But it just rolled down the left field line. I don't think Adrian Hauser had a bad start. I think he did his job.
That's fair.
And I'm going to say something, you can blame the Brewers' defensive positioning, but I mean, you talk about a guy being a step or two in one direction or the other, and a lot of these are outs.
I agree.
The Blue Jays had one hit that was over 100 miles an hour. It was Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s single that made it 1-0.
I could have guessed that it came from him. He's strong.
But I mean, look, it went 73, 111, 99, 69, 66, 89, 93, 95, 81, 99, 92.
Jeez.
That you're talking 4 hits that would qualify as a hard hit.
4 out of the 11. Wow. Thanks.
I stand on the hill that Adrian Hauser did his job. And the Blue Jays got a little bit of luck. And yeah, that's that's really what I feel, especially when you factor in that Brian Anderson had a very rare fielding error.
Yeah, that too. So now that we got that off our chest, people can take that perspective and shove it where the sun don't shine. Only a select few of you, though.
And that's the thing is like, people just want to people want to box score overreact.
Mm.
And it's something that with us doing, more analysis is that we're trying to avoid that, the box score analysis, because you can look at it and say, oh, Adrian Hauser gave up 6 runs. The context is important here. Adrian Hauser, you brought up that he's a ground ball pitcher, got a lot of ground balls.
Yeah. I feel, I might go on a limb here. I feel like baseball might be the most important sport for context. Yeah? No?
I think I would agree with that.
I feel like basketball is the least. Like you could tell the story of basketball through a box score. I feel like you could tell the story of a game through a box score. Now there might be like a special circumstance every once in a while, but I feel like basketball is the least and baseball is the most. Because like you just brought it up. You brought up all those hits. You brought up all the exit velocity. That's why baseball has all the stats. Baseball has all the stats.
Yeah.
Really and then for their stats, they add pluses for all those million stats. It's just like, where am I sometimes? I'm just seeing numbers at this point.
Yeah. That's a good point. And football, I would say, is in the middle because like we talked about people being like, oh, Jordan Love threw 3 interceptions in preseason last year. And it's like, yeah, 2 of them were in guys' hands before not being in their hands anymore.
Yeah, agreed. And then like you could see like, oh, the defense gave up two long bombs, and then you could be like, well, we got our hands on both of them. The guy just made a great catch, I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with you that baseball is the one where the context matters the most. That's a good point.
Well, and it's the longest sport, and like you said, people want to freak out like 1 game out of 162. Like, darn it, man, we're not going to make the playoffs now because we lost to the Blue Jays on a Tuesday.
In Toronto for the first time since 2017.
Like, come on, dude. Like, come on. Seriously. I mean, other than that, I loved that I saw – where did I see that? Was that Twitter? Where did I see that? That guy was like, oh, this lineup is not scoring more than 1 run.
Yeah, that was Twitter.
Literally the first inning, and we scored 2 runs.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah. So William Contreras homered for the second straight day, a 2-run shot. Got him up to 18 RBIs, so he's starting to come around, starting to heat up a little bit. He's got the power. He's got up to 6 home runs. We left 8 on base, and we were only 0 for 2 of runners in scoring position, so it didn't really seem like we had a lot of opportunities after that first inning. So, excuse me. Really, really, bullpen was good yesterday as well. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
Since I have that in here. Point out that bullpen was good because people are crying about it. So the bullpen was good. Have to point that out because people are crying about it.
I have silver lining bullpen
There you
3
go.
2/3 innings out of the bullpen.
Uh-huh.
Only 3 hits, only 1 walk,
Yep.
but scoreless.
Yep.
Wilson pitched an inning and 2/3, and then Milner and Cousins each pitched a scoreless inning. I gotta say this because it irritates the hell out of me. Christian Yelich continues to get the worst strike zone in baseball.
Yeah.
The dude gets like 1 strikeout per series where like he gets rung up on a pitch that's like 4 inches out of the zone.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
And I will say, as far as we're talking silver linings, I have 2 more. Andrew Monasterio, not only getting his first career hit, but also his second career hit. So 2 hits for him. And then the strikeout to walk ratio. Brewers actually only struck out 8 times last night. That's good.
Yeah.
Under 10, I'm happy. Under 8 or less, I am very pleased. League average is usually between 9 and 10. So if they're under 9, I'm very pleased. And they drew 6 walks. So I'm actually in a pretty decent place as far as last night's game was concerned when you add all those things in. Now, if you add in the 4th game against the Giants and the opener against the Blue Jays, the Brewers are now 21-6 in games where they score first. So they got one added to the win column and one added to the loss column in their last 2 games.
It's a good stat. I like it.
I'm going to keep track of it and keep track of how many games they score first and then how it translates, how it correlates.
I feel like that's important to the Brewers, man. They start pressing at the plate, man.
I mean, you're talking a 3.5 to 1 ratio of wins to losses in games they score first.
Yeah, that's pretty big, pretty important.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you wanted to say about the Blue Jays game from last night?
Now you got me thinking, man. They score first. They can lean on the pitching, lean on the defense. That's kind of the style they want to play. They're like I'm going to compare them to like a football team that actually plays in the state, the Wisconsin Badgers. You know, you brought it up during the season last year where, you know, if the Badgers are ahead, their play style is actually a beautiful thing. Run the ball, pound it, you know, run the clock, rest on the defense. That's kind of how the Brewers are run too, just with baseball. Like if we score first, we can rely on our dominant pitching, go to our good arms in the bullpen and shut shit down.
Well, how many games have we seen this year where we talk about Craig Counsell pushing the right buttons late in games with the bullpen, defensive substitutions, and pinch hitting, and I mean, that's where I think Craig Counsell thrives. I mean, you haven't had a lot of games where the Brewers like have lost close games late in the game.
Yeah, and I think the problem with the hitting is, I think we're, you know, early in the season when Garrett Mitchell was there, and this might be a big thing. I felt like we were more patient at the plate, and we weren't just trying to hit home runs. Not and maybe
reverting to their old ways a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like they're going backwards where they were last year, whereas we were kind of, you know, when everybody was talking about the small ball stuff, like, oh, let's just take hits anyway on. Like, I feel like they have to get back to the basics of things a little bit. And I think that's the way that this team can win. That's the way this team is built.
And that's why I want to keep Yelich in the leadoff spot.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. Whatever he wants to do.
He's got a little bit of a power resurgence so far. He's got 7 home runs in the first third of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking about Yelich being, you know, a 20 home run, 30 stolen base guy, like, I'm happy with that.
I agree.
But the dude, he gets on base a ton. Like, he's got to stay in that top spot. So, like, I will say that, like, at times Craig Counsell messes with the lineup too much, but some of it does make sense. Some of it, I do agree with some of what people say that I wish they'd just, like, keep Christian Yelich lead off all the time.
And I like Owen Miller as the 2 spot.
I like that. I like that.
Oh, Yelich, Miller, and then after that, I don't know. Do you want to go Willie?
I would say Contreras, and then Tellez.
And Tellez? Okay.
When Willie Adames is back, then obviously it'll change. With Luis Urias back, it'll change. I said this, and I feel bad for saying it because it's kind of a negative thing, but when the Brewers have Tyrone Taylor batting 6th, like, you know, they're kind of down bad a little bit on injuries.
You're not wrong.
Let's just say if Sal Frelick was healthy, I'd be advocating for him strongly.
I'm advocating for him now. Just get him up here. Let him rehab up here. I don't care.
Yeah. Let South Frolic play with one hand and no thumbs.
I'm sure he can hit 190 with one hand. I had to, bro. I was like, set me up. I'll knock it down. I promise.
All right. So the Brewers have 2 more against Toronto today and tomorrow. Then they have a 4-game series in Cincinnati. And then they're back home to start a series with Baltimore. So, goddamn, the Brewers have a tough stretch.
Yeah.
You're talking about the defending champs and Toronto and Baltimore coming and having St. Louis. And then you're talking about the Giants who always play the Brewers tough. I mean, the 4-game series in Cincinnati feels like the only breather the Brewers are going to get. And they just pulled a whoops on the Cardinals the other day. Scored like a 7-run 9th inning. The Cardinals had like a 98 win probability, and then the Reds scored like 7 runs on them in the 9th and fucking won.
Was that the start against Wainwright?
I don't remember, but I knew it was Helsley, a guy that Cardinals fans were saying was better than Josh Hader last year. And it made me laugh that their prized best closer in baseball got rocked and lost in the game. That made me laugh.
That's funny.
So I mean, I feel weird trying to predict the Brewers' record because I just want them to stay afloat at the top of the Central. So I'm not super down on the Brewers. I know they're capable of doing a winning streak, but 2 in Toronto, and then they start with Baltimore after 4 in Cincinnati. I'm gonna say 4-3 on the 7 games.
I'm teetering between 4-3 and 5-2. Your exit velocity shit's really making me think here. God damn it.
Yeah, I don't think Hauser deserves any ill will from last night.
I'm gonna say 5-2. I'm gonna say 5-2. I feel 5-2. The Brewers, they always play
capability is there for them to go 5-2.
They always play well in Cincinnati. That could be a jump start for us.
Yelich will probably have a cycle in Cincy.
Probably. And if they're going to swing for the fences, Cincinnati's definitely the place to do it. So,
yeah, and he gets 4 cracks at it. So Yelich will probably have a cycle in Cincinnati.
He always does, right?
He's got 3 against Cincinnati.
I know, of his 4 total, right?
What?
He has 4 cycles in his career, right?
Yeah, 4 total.
And
yeah,
3 of them are against Cincinnati.
Yeah. The most out of anybody. Literally anybody in Major League Baseball. It's Yelich against the Reds.
And baseball's old, by the way.
Baseball's very old. Older than you, even.
That's crazy. And you wouldn't believe it if you talked to Tim today. Jesus.
Comment section was after Jake today. That was hilarious.
It is what it is, man.
Alrighty, so we will have 7 Brewers games to talk about next week. We may have a little bit more to expand upon with the Adrian Griffin hire if we get a press conference between now and next Wednesday. We will also be back on Friday night doing our Thank You Aaron Rodgers episode. It's going to be fun. We're not talking any sort of off the field stuff. We're talking strictly on the field, our top 5 favorite Aaron Rodgers moments, not what we think his top 5 moments are, what our top 5 Aaron Rodgers memories / moments are. Yeah. So that's going to be Friday night. It's gonna be a fun one, a lighthearted one, not full of a ton of analysis. It's just gonna be talking about some old football games.
And Simon and Brian are some fools, man. So there's gonna be some messing around.
I'm sure.
No news on OTAs yet. I'm not gonna lie. I know that we're the positivity central, but a part of me kind of hates this part of the offseason because everybody's over positive. It's nothing bad. Everybody forget. Bears fans forgot that they sucked last year. Do you forget that you still suck?
I'll say this is a unique point in time for Bears fans because they are desperately clinging to hope that Jordan Love is not good. Because if he is good, you're talking 45 years of dominant quarterback play. So they are desperately hoping that Jordan Love is not good because they've been owned for so long.
Dude.
So they have this time where it's not known if he's going to be good or not, that they're desperately hoping that he's not.
I was gonna tell this on Friday, but I'm gonna start with something else on Friday now. But I was gonna tell this on Friday. I had a dream the other day. This was on Saturday. I had a dream. Listen, it's about football.
Okay.
Jordan Love goes into Chicago, throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Justin Fields throws no touchdowns and 5 picks. And one of the picks is a pick 6 by Jair Alexander. So he threw 2 picks to our DBs, 2 picks to linebackers. And the end of the game, he threw a pick that got tipped in the air by Quay Walker because Bears fans were talking shit about Quay Walker. The pass got tipped by Quay Walker, so we blitzed him off the left side, and Kenny Clark was standing right there, and he caught the interception. So he threw an interception to every level of our defense.
I'm on board. I'm on board.
If that happens, dude, then my dreams tell the truth.
So, James, on your 2 points, one saying as soon as the schedule comes out, everybody's predicting 12-win seasons. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people are like that. Like, oh, and I get the optimistic part of it, and that's where like I kind of agree with Jake on everybody's like overly like, oh, if this, and this happens, the Packers could go 13-3 this year. You know, they have a soft schedule. Like, there is an aspect of trying to be realistic with it, and like I've already mentioned that I think I'm somewhere between 7-10 and 10-7. Not my official record prediction yet, but we're getting there. We're getting closer to the season. But on the subject of OTAs, it's literally been a week and a half that OTAs have been happening. It is way too soon to be making assumptions of things that are going to happen from September through December based on May. It is way too soon. You're talking about 8 days worth of practice, and only 2 of which have been open to the media, and you're going to base all of your predictions off of 2 days that you've gotten media availability from. It is way too soon to be drawing conclusions, and I get that it's people being desperate for football, and I understand, but we gotta chill out on OTAs.
Seriously, like, can we stop? Can we stop doing this? Like, it's ridiculous at this point. And James, to your point, man, when I was looking at the schedule, I was like, man, it's kind of soft, man. But then I had to remind myself, like, it should be soft for Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, we don't know what Jordan Love is. Jordan Love could be good. Jordan Love could be bad. We don't know. I mean, we're going to be optimistic.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you right now, with how young our team is, and I am mentally preparing myself for this right now, we are going to fuck up like 6 games that we should win. I guarantee it. We're gonna mess up like 6 to 7 games that I think that, you know, and football is just, you know, a game of inches. They always say that, right? It's just like the weirdest sport. I could be like,
Barry said there's like 5, 6, 7 plays that make the entire game.
There's gonna be a game where like we mess up in like the third quarter with like 6 minutes left, and like instead of making this pass, he makes this read, you know?
Yeah,
and
like a rookie mistake.
I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's still going to piss me off. But I tell you what, I'm not going to let it ruin my night. I'm not going to let it ruin my life. And I'm not going to go on social media and start bashing the dude. Okay? Yeah. It's going to happen. It's going to be a down year in Green Bay, in my opinion. We're going to be somewhere around 500. I can see us winning 9 games. I can see us winning 7 games. I can see us winning 5 games. I can see a lot of different scenarios playing out with Green Bay Packers. But you know what? I'm going to tune in every fucking week.
It's going to be fun, though. I'm looking at it as an opportunity. We have an opportunity to see potentially the beginning of a new era where 20 years from now we could be like, man, you remember when the Packers traded Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love became the guy?
Dude, we have lived through some of the greatest years in Green Bay Packers history, and they are a storied franchise. Do not fool yourself. Don't listen to nobody that says they don't care about Packers-Bears rivalry or none of that trash, right? The Bears suck a lot. The Packers do not suck a lot, okay? We are living in a very unique time period for the Green Bay Packers.
That's the thing, the uniqueness of it.
This draft is either going to be the greatest thing that ever happened to the Packers, or it's going to be a big downfall. Because I'm telling you, if 2-3 of these offensive players turn out, dude, it's about to be on.
That's like I'm saying. James said being with his girlfriend during the Game 7. Like, I get it. I get it being frustrated, but like being able to rise above that frustration, there's something to be said about the emotional maturity it takes. So if you can handle that and rise above that, I'm proud of you for it.
I'm proud of you too. I am gonna troll you for a second though. At what Jaylen Brown turnover were you the most angry?
Oh man.
Was it his fourth straight one with the left hand? I'm not sure. Does he only have a right hand? I'm confused. How do you pay somebody $300 million with one hand? It just doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, we're just talking about Sal Frelick being able to do it with one hand.
Dude, Jaylen Brown is a stud. Don't let me lie to you.
Yeah. But I mean, when we're talking about opportunity here, the likelihood that the Packers go back to back Hall of Fame quarterbacks is low. But here's the most important thing. The chances are not zero.
I'm telling you what, dude.
I don't give a shit what percentage the chances are if they go 3 in a row. The chances are not zero.
If they get 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in a row, and the Bears are still drafting top 10 quarterbacks in the top 10, bruh. Wow. Not good. What's going on with you over there?
Oh, my legs were getting tense from laughing, so. That was funny. Well,
Dude,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I got fired up by the chances not being zero thing. But
all right.
Man. Anything else you want to say? Brewers, Packers, Bucks, whatever it be.
I'm gonna say one last thing about the Celtics. For all the Celtics fans that were laughing at the Bucks last year, that were like, "Oh, we would have won if we had Middleton." I'm not cheering for injury. I don't hate Jason Tatum, but you deserve that, and you're not allowed to use that excuse of Jason Tatum being hurt. Sorry, not sorry. You're not allowed to use it.
Hey,
it is karma. I believe in karma. I don't believe in a lot of things, but I believe in karma.
What I said was, if people want to bring up the excuse of Jason Tatum's ankle in Game 7, I'm like, what does that mean for the fourth quarters in Games 1 through 6?
Yeah, bro. Did you see my comment to the horn guy? Because he was making that excuse. I was like, oh, so his ankle was hurt all fourth quarters through the whole series? Was his ankle only hurt in the fourth quarter? Did it just choose to not work in the fourth quarter, or what?
Oh, James is already getting ready to make Saints puns. Derek doesn't drive automatic because he has clutch in the car. Oh, man. It's too soon for puns, James. Too soon for NFL puns. We have a guy whose last name is Love, so we're going to have lots of puns during the season. I guarantee you that. But
yeah,
too soon, James. Too soon.
Yikes.
Alrighty. I will see you on Friday. We'll be back with another fun episode Friday night with Simon and Brian.
All right. See y'all later.